Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to be showing you guys the speed paint of this fan art that I made of a K-drama called Weak Hero, Season 1 to be specific. I actually finished watching this K-drama almost a year ago, and I was planning on making this video last year, but I just didn't get around to it, so I am now just barely recording the voiceover as of February 1st of this year, 2026. So normally, I love watching K-dramas. I've been watching K-dramas for a few years now, probably like 3 years. And yeah, I mostly watch romance dramas or rom-coms I also watch action K-dramas here and there, but I mostly go for romance. But this K-drama is definitely not romance. So it was kind of different for me to watch, but I wanted to try it out because I want to watch different, I don't want to stick to one genre. I like to explore different genres in any media, except for horror. I don't like horror, and I would not willingly watch horror on my own. But other than that, I would watch any other genre, or almost any other genre. So yeah, this K-drama is called Weak Hero. For those who haven't seen it and are planning on watching it, I will give spoiler warning. I will be talking about Season 1. I have another fan art that I did of a character from Season 2 that I will also be making a video about and talking about Season 2. But for now, this video will be Season 1 focused only. But yeah, if you guys haven't watched this K-drama or are planning on watching it, then yeah, I suggest to not watch this, to either mute this video or, I don't know, you could just click out of this video and watch another video of mine or whatever video you guys want to watch. But yeah, so Season 1 of Weak Hero focuses on these 3 characters that I am drawing. These characters' names are, from left to right, Homsuk, Suo, and Shion. And I apologize that I didn't pronounce these names right. I do not speak Korean. I kind of practiced, kind of learned it, but I am definitely not fluent in Korean. And so if I messed up their names, the pronunciations, then my apologies. I want to say their names the way they're supposed to be said and not Americanize it. Yeah, I want to say how they're supposed to be said in Korean, so yeah. But hopefully I don't mess up their names too much. But yeah, so I really enjoyed Season 1. It went in an unexpected way. I knew it was about bullies, because this K-drama is about fighting and bullies and pretty much focuses at school. But I thought it was gonna be all about that. I mean, it is, but it took a turn that I did not expect, especially with this friendship. How it starts off is Shion, the guy on the far right of this drawing. He's pretty much the male protagonist, the main character of this drama. And we first see Shion being alone and being bullied, and he does nothing but study. That's his thing. He just focuses on his grades and he just studies, and he's in his own little world. Even though these bullies, they bully him, his classmates, they bully him, even though he doesn't do anything. He doesn't do anything to them, but I don't know, just bullies being bullies, I guess. So yeah, he's pretty much in his own little world. He doesn't have friends. He's all alone all the time, and he's always has this depressed look on his face, the sadness is in his eyes, and I felt bad for him from the jump, because just the way he looks, and of course how these people are treating him for no reason. And Shion doesn't really react. I mean, he does tell them to stop, but of course they don't listen. I think all they want, especially the main bully, they just want to get a reaction out of him, but he doesn't really give much of a reaction to them. So that just makes them want to bully him even more and even go further, do more. So it starts off small, kind of. For example, the main bully threw a shoe at him and then pretended to be sorry, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see you there, which obviously that's a lie. And then Shion is just okay, be careful next time. And of course that just makes the main bully angry, because it's not a reaction that he was trying to get out of Shion. So yeah, from there it just gets a little bit worse, that the main bully gets one of his friend or minion or whatever you want to call them. He gets one of them to pretty much choke him out, but they get interrupted by a teacher, and the main bully pretends that everything's alright and tells Shion to pretend that everything's alright because he's got to get into a good college, and I guess telling on them like would, I don't know, I don't know what it would happen to like his grades or reputation or whatever. Like, I guess Shion just wants to have a good record and like not have anything on him, even if it's not his fault. And I guess if Shion were to tell the bullies like what's going on, like I bet the bully will get even more mad at Shion and worse stuff to him. I don't know. But either way, he does do something worse to Shion. So again, they've been trying to get a reaction out of Shion, but nothing's really working. They just want to break Shion. That's what they specifically say. Like, they want to break his spirit. And so the main bully and the minions or friends, whatever, they're like discussing like what could break him, what could really like hurt Shion. And so they thought of his grades because they always see him studying. And so at that point, there was gonna be like a mock test or a practice test for the real test in the upcoming weeks. And so there was going to be a practice test very soon, and so they were studying for this. They were, so Shion was studying for that, and so they thought of like, oh, what if we mess up his practice test somehow, get him to like fail or mess up, and then comes in Pumpsuck, the guy on the far left. He is a new student. He transferred from a different school, and so now he's the new kid in this new school with Shion and the bullies. And so the main bully finds this as an opportunity, and so he comes up to Pumpsuck and he's just trying to be friendly, trying to get Pumpsuck to trust him, I guess. And then he's like asking like, oh, like what high school did he come from? And Pumpsuck answers him, and the main bully is like, oh, so it's like a school for the rich, so I guess Pumpsuck is a rich kid. And then Pumpsuck like, yeah, I guess. Anyways, so and then another scene happens where the main bully talks to Pumpsuck again, and he told him that he had a friend back in the high school that he transferred from, and he found out that Pumpsuck was being bullied, that he got bullied so much that he had to transfer schools. And so now Pumpsuck is starting to get scared because he doesn't want that to happen again, of course. But the main bully is like, oh no, that don't worry about it. Like, I will be your friend. I'll be your friend. I'm not gonna do anything. And then Pumpsuck is a little bit more relieved. But then the main bully tells him, I want you to do something. I need a favor from you. And so because Pumpsuck does not want to be bullied and wants to get on his good side, he's like, what's up, pretty much. And then the main bully tells him, so he got this like, I don't know if I should say this on YouTube, but these kind of drugs from his cousin at a club. And so he took a pack at school, and then he tells Pumpsuck to put like the patch, because it's like any patch. He tells Pumpsuck to put this patch on Shion's skin during the practice test. And that like drug or whatever pretty much makes you feel very dizzy and nauseous. And it just doesn't make you feel good at all. And so with that could mess up Shion during the practice test and will probably not do well on the practice test. And so Pumpsuck is hesitant, but he does it anyway. And so during the practice test, Pumpsuck is sitting behind Shion, and he reluctantly puts a patch on his neck. And Shion, he just turns around and stares at him, but the teacher tells him to just, what's going on, like, continue on the practice test. And so and then after a while, Shion starts to feel the symptoms of that medicine drug, and he rushes to the bathroom feeling all dizzy and nauseous and just having the worst time. And skipping forward a bit, we get to the students checking their grades, like checking the answers as they go to see if they got correct or not. Like one of them telling what the answers are, and the students just checking if they got them right or wrong, and just marking the test. And then we see Shin checking his grades, and then everything's going well so far. Like he's getting them all right until we get to what appears like at the point where he got sick, where he felt sick, and he got that question wrong. I don't know if he got the rest of the questions wrong, or just a few during the time that he felt sick, But either way, he marked an answer wrong, and that's when he pretty much had a breakdown. Like, he got pretty angry, and then he turned around towards Pumpsuk, and then Pumpsuk kind of like looked at the main bully, like pretty much telling Shion that it was his idea, like it was him, he was the one who did it. And so yeah, Shion just stands up, walks slowly towards the main bully, which is towards the back of the class, grabs the book, and just whacks him in the face with it. And then also, while he was walking towards the main bully, he grabs a pen, and when he whacked the main bully with the book, he turned around and stabs one of the other bullies with the pen in their hand. But he kept going towards the main bully. Like, he kept repeatedly hitting him with a book, and he just kept going and going, and until he pretty much broke his nose. The main bully's nose was all bloody, and then the main bully fell to the ground. And while the main bully was on the floor, she was telling him, like, I told you to stop. And he did. He has told the main bully to stop several times as he was getting bullied, but he never stopped. Him and his minions never stopped bullying him. And so I can see, obviously, like, I can see why Shion finally broke down like that, because I could imagine like the built-up frustration and anger towards these bullies, and like finally letting that frustration and anger out on one of them. And so yeah, as when Shion told him that he had told him repeatedly to stop, he was about to step on his face pretty much, and that's when Suo, the guy in the middle in the drawing, comes in and pretty much stops him and tells him to not cross the line. So something that I haven't told you guys is that Suo is like an MMA fighter, or he was an MMA fighter or something. He's good at fighting, and so he only fights when he needs to defend himself. Otherwise, he doesn't use his fighting skills. He doesn't provoke people. He doesn't come at people for no reason. But even if he does like defend himself, he makes sure to not to go too far, that just to, like, you know what I mean, like, he doesn't go too far, and he makes sure that other people doesn't go too far too. And I could see why, of course, because there can be some regrets, and there could be real consequences to those actions if you do go too far. So I can see why Suo prevented Shion from stomping on the main bully's face, because he doesn't want Shion to kill him or just make it worse. The consequences will fall on Shion, because, like I said, like he's always studying, he's trying to get into a good college, and all that would be ruined. So yeah, it's mostly for Shion, so that he would not suffer those big consequences. Yeah, so Suo stops him, and then Shion, still being angry and has this adrenaline in him, he's like, what are you doing? Like, why did you stop me? And Suo just tells him, to not go too far. And then Shion is angry. He still has his anger in him, and frustration and the adrenaline, and so he kind of tries to take it out on Suo, because Suo stopped him from stomping on the main bully. And so yeah, that's all in the first episode, by the way. I forgot to mention, but yeah, the first episode ends with Shion trying to attack Suo with a chair. Yeah, but the situation pretty much de-escalates pretty quick when the teacher comes in, and that's how the second episode starts. But anyway, so yeah, from that moment, Shion and Suo kind of become friends, which is like, if you've never seen this K-drama and you're probably wondering, like, how did they go from that to being friends? And they just start to like kind of hang out together a little bit at first. After that situation that happened in the classroom, the first time or second time that they saw each other again was Suo was a delivery driver, so he goes around in his like little motorbike, going around and delivering people's foods, I think. And one night he accidentally went to Shion's place, thinking it was another room number in the apartment. But Shion's like, I didn't order food, and Suo was like, oh, well, can I get some water? And she was like, and Suo just comes in his apartment, not waiting for Xian's answer. And so yeah, Suo just tells him to get him water, pretty much. And so Xian's like, but he does it anyway. He goes, gets him water, and yeah, that's pretty much that's how they meet again after that incident. It's probably the first time that they meet outside of school. So yeah, so Xian and Suo become friends. So at first it's a duo between those two. And then Bomsuk, he comes in a little later. Bomsuk tries to apologize to Xian, sort of, for doing what he did during the practice test. And at first, Xian doesn't really forgive him, doesn't accept his apology. And I mean, that's valid. What he did was pretty terrible, even though it was someone else's idea and someone else made him do it. Like, he still did it, so that is pretty wrong, and that really messed Xian up. Like, it could be dangerous. So yeah, so at first Xian didn't really accept his apology, but they became friends later on because there was another situation between gang members. They were like this group of people that were like scamming people for money, and then somehow these trio got involved. And it's also the main bully's fault because the main bully, remember that cousin that I mentioned that where the main bully got the patch from? Well, that cousin is a part of this group of people that scam people for money, and then they have this boss where they use these group of kids. This group are mostly kids and teenagers, and the boss is an adult. So this adult boss dude, he provides a place for them to live, but in exchange the kids do the dirty work for him. They get the money and they just do these errands for him, and they even have burner accounts for the boss so that the boss wouldn't risk himself in case something went wrong with scamming people. So yeah, and so the trio somehow they got involved because of the main bully somehow. But during season 1, all that happens, but the trio managed to get them arrested. But some of them turned out to be good. They were just used, and they felt like they couldn't get out of this situation that they were put in or got themselves in that group of scammers and bad people. And so yeah, they managed to kind of solve that issue. Yeah, so from that the trio got closer and they became friends. But here's where this dark turn happened that I mentioned earlier, that things took a turn where I didn't expect. And so one of the group of kids from the scammers, whatever, she also became friends with these guys. She started to hang out with them, and Suo provided a place to stay, I think, and got her a job where he works at. And so she kind of joined this group of friends. But that's where it started to go wrong, not because of her. And she had nothing to do with it. She was a pretty good friend. She didn't do anything wrong. It was actually Bomsuk. So like I said before, Bomsuk was really bullied a lot, to the point where he had to transfer schools. So he has that trauma, but not only that, he also has his father, who isn't actually his father, by the way. He was adopted. His father is a political figure, and he had adopted Hoomsuk to get a good look, to get a good reputation. But behind closed doors, his father would actually abuse him, physically, and all kinds of abuse, but including physically. So all of that, it just made Pomsuk feel deep down Pomsuk had a lot of trauma. And at first he seemed good, he seemed well in this friend group, but then when the girl joined in, he was kind of feeling left out. And throughout the friendship, before she even came into the picture, Pomsuk kind of looked up to Suo. He would check his Instagram, and he would look up to Suo, possibly because he saw how confident Suo was and how he didn't care what people think, and that he could defend himself in any way. And I guess Pomsuk wanted to be like him. But then as time went on, he started to kind of resent Suo for the things that he had once admired. He started to think that Suo was always thought that he was above everyone else, and that Bomsuk thought that Suo thought himself as king. Just because he was all confident and was not afraid to stand up for himself or his friends. And I guess because Bomsuk wanted to be like him and wanted to be all that like Suo was, but he wasn't like Suo. It turned from admiration to resentment. And it really started to fall apart real quick, especially between the friendship between Suo and Bomsuk. And so they started to get into fights, and like Bomsuk was just starting to feel very insecure, especially with being friends with Suo. And then Xian, is kind of caught in the middle, trying to stop these arguments and stop these fights, and like trying to talk to Bomsuk, but also Bomsuk doesn't really communicate either, and so that just makes it even worse because how can you solve problems without communicating? And so Bomsuk is not communicating with Suo and Xian, and then Suo doesn't really try to talk to Bomsuk either to see what's up. He started to see Bomsuk, kind of lashing out at Suo, and then because of that, Suo kind of also like lashes out at Bomsuk, kind of like saying what am I doing to you, like what's going, it kind of goes back and forth. And then Xian is the one who's trying to understand more where like what's going on with Bomsuk. He's really the one who's trying to calmly communicate with Bomsuk and see what's going on, like why he's acting like that. But again, Bomsuk is like, I'm fine, everything's fine, but obviously everything's not fine because he's lashing out at Suo, and then he just has become more distant to the point where he starts to hang out with the bullies Shin. Yeah, so everything, it just comes crashing down towards the end. And then by the end of the season 1, it got so bad to where he asked an MMA fighter to beat Suo up on his birthday. And so on the last episode, Suo meets up with these bullies now, including Bomsuk and then the MMA fighter. And so Suo meets up at like the gym where there's like a boxing ring. And yeah, they had agreed prior to have a one-on-one match between Suo and the MMA fighter. I forgot his name, but yeah, so it was an MMA fighter versus former MMA fighter, and they had actually fought before. Suo had like quit with the MMA fighting, so they started to do a fair game. They were just in the ring fighting each other, and everything was going pretty smoothly, I guess you could say. They were fighting fairly, and they both were pretty good. Like, they were getting good hits on each other, and then things were starting to look good for Suo. He was kind of like, I don't know, I guess he was winning probably. To be honest, I don't know how this works. But anyways, things were just starting to look good for Suo until one of the bullies grabs his leg and makes him fall down. And then the MMA fighter takes the opportunity to kick him straight on the head and pretty much knocks him down. It doesn't make him unconscious, but Suo falls to the ground and stays on the ground. And that's when Bomsuk comes in and then takes that opportunity to tell him, oh, now you can't look down on me and things like that. And Suo is telling him to snap out of it, pretty much. And also Suo tells him to stop blaming others and to take accountability. And then that just makes Bomsuk even more mad and starts to kick him. And he just keeps on kicking and kicking him. And then the bullies come in, and then they all just start kicking him. And then that pretty much makes Suo go unconscious. And yeah, and with that, by the end of that season, Suo is in a coma. All because of what Bomsuk had decided and what he did. Yeah, and so Xian finds out, and of course that really enrages him, and he starts going to everybody who was involved to just take revenge on them and starts pretty much beating them up. That's pretty much what he did. Everyone who was involved in Suo being in a coma. And then yeah, the friendship falls apart, of course, and Xian is just left alone again, and he had to transfer to a different school because of what he did, and that comes into play. That's how the next season starts, him being in the other school. And so yeah, Suo remains in a coma. Bombsuk, he had to leave. His father sent him to the Philippines, I think. And yeah, that's how this season ended. And I didn't expect for the season to end like that, really. And of course I cried. Of course. But yeah, that's how this season ends, unfortunately. Sue was in a coma and Bombsuk gets sent to the Philippines, and yeah, and we don't know what happens to Bombsuk after. So yeah, in season 1, that's how the story for Suo and Bombsuk ends. But fortunately, Xian's story continues in season 2 with new characters. But yeah, how season 1 ended was pretty sad for me because, first of all, I felt so bad for Xian the most. I mean, I also felt bad for Suo, of course, because what happened to him, I mean, he didn't do anything to deserve that, and so it's really unfair for Suo to be put in a coma. But for Xian, this season starts with him being alone, and then it ends with him being alone. Like, he doesn't even have the girl that joined in the friend group because she felt guilty because she thought it was her fault, because Bombsuk told her that it was her fault, that Suo was in a coma. So Bombsuk was still blaming other people and was not taking accountability for himself. So because what Bombsuk told her, she really did feel guilty and really felt like it was her fault. And so she also distanced herself from Xian, and so Xian really was left alone by the end of season 1. And that's how the season started, which is very sad. And also, I actually really liked the friend group. I really liked the trio, and I really liked their dynamic because all three of their personalities were different. But I felt like it went well with each other. I felt like they really were compatible because Xian and Bombsuk were both introverts and Suo was more of an extrovert, kind of. And so I felt like Suo would really bring out something good out of Bombsuk and Xian, and then Bombsuk and Xian really understood each other. They had kind of a more similar personalities, just a little bit, but also like what they went through with the bullying, I feel like they could have really understood each other, and that's where Xian was coming from, like where Xian was trying to understand Bombsuk, his behavior. But it's unfortunate that Bombsuk, his mental health was really going down. He was really spiraling. I feel like they could have been a cool friend group, but unfortunately it all ended. But yeah, thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this little rant that I had about this season of Weak Hero, and I will definitely make another video for season 2 and talking about season 2 some other time. Hopefully I'll make that video and have it out sooner. I wanted to have it out soon, but I'll just see how I do. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll be seeing you guys in the next one. Bye bye.